plan. We are getting into lesson number 26, beautiful, and we have some more guest mathematicians here to bring that learning to you. Hi, what's your name?
My name's Leela.
Hi, Leela. And what's your name?
Ashwika.
Hi, Eureka. Two lady mathematicians. That's what I love. Can you girls tell us what we are working on in lesson 26, please?
We're dividing fractions with whole numbers.
Dividing fractions with whole numbers. Whoa, that sounds tricky. How do you guys feel about it? How do you girls feel about it? Good. What is the relationship between lesson 26 and lesson 25?
They're both like dividing with fractions.
Yeah. In lesson 25, we're dividing whole numbers by fractions, and in lesson 26, we are kind of doing reverse, dividing fractions by whole numbers. Okay, let's take a look at some problems here. Okay, before I hand this over to our guest mathematicians, I'm going to do a few problems so that you guys can really kind of see what we are working on here in lesson 26. Like we just mentioned, now we are dividing fractions by whole numbers. So that is going to require us to do some modeling. Let's look at this model here. So we have 1/2 divided by 3. So we need to draw a rectangle. The rectangle represents one whole, and then we're shading in 1/2. Cool. And then we are slicing that half into 3 equal pieces. This is shown in 2 steps here. So we have 1/2 shaded in here. This one, of course, is done for us. And we slice this into 3 equal pieces. And what we're trying to figure out, my friends, is what fraction is this? This red box is 1/2 divided by 3. So 1/2 in gray, and then that 1/2 divided into 3 equal pieces. Well, that fraction, it's just one shaded box, so our numerator is 1, and then we have this whole divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So 1/2 divided by 3 is 1/6. We can think about that. This is our thought bubble here. 1/2 divided by 3 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 6 divided by 3, and 3/6 divided by 3 is 1/6. Think about that. No, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to assume that makes logical sense to your brilliant 5th grade mind. Cool. So let's go ahead and take this one over. So this is B. I'll just leave it like that. So in lesson 26, you guys, we are going to be modeling a whole first. Our whole rectangle is going to represent 1. And then we're going to isolate our 1/8. But first we need to show one whole. Just like up here when we were looking at 1/2 divided by 3, we showed one whole first. So here, 1/8 divided by 5, we have our whole. Now we need to slice our whole into 8ths because our denominator is 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was getting paranoid that I hadn't started recording. 7/8. Cool. So now this is our 1/8. I shaded that 1/8 in very lightly, but now I'm recognizing that it's not light enough. So I'm going to actually zoom in. I'm going to draw my 1/8 in larger. So this is 1/8, but I need it larger. So by the power of math, I've detached it, and now poof, here it is. So now my 1/8, friends, needs to be divided into 5 equal groups. Notice I'm using red and blue. So we're going to divide our 1/8. This is 1/8. I just snapped it off of our whole. 1/8 needs to be sliced into 5 equal slices. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what we need to figure out, friends, is what fraction is that teeny tiny slice? What fraction is that teeny tiny slice? What I did was I sliced my 1/8 into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slices, and I'm looking for what is that little slice? What fraction is that? Well, I know that I just have 1 shaded in, but I have to figure out what is our denominator. So 1 is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slices. So I have 8 slices. And then within my eighths, within my 1/8, I then cut it into 5 equal pieces. So what we have here is 8 slices times 5 because we were dividing our eighths by 5. So really what we need to think about is 8 times 5, which is 40. If I were to go through and slice all of these eighths into fifths, then what we would end up with is 40 total slices. Pretty cool stuff, huh? In this section, we are just continuing to divide our fractions by whole numbers. In E, we are looking at 1/5 divided by 2. So when we are modeling these pieces, friends, we are modeling a whole. So that rectangle represents one whole. Gosh, that's a gorgeous rectangle. So now I need to isolate my 1/5. We are going to be dividing, as you can see, 1/5 by 2, but first I need to show 1/5, which means I need to chop this one whole into 5 equal pieces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am going to highlight 1/5. So that is 1/5. And how is 1/5 being divided? Well, it's being divided by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and chop each of my 1/5, each of my fifths, into 2 equal parts. Very good. Now we need to figure out what is 1 sliver of that. When we divide 1/5, that's in yellow, by 2, what is this fraction? Well, I just have 1 box highlighted, so I know my numerator will be 1, but what is my denominator? How many slices is this whole now broken up into? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1/10. Great, so 1/5 divided by 2 is 1/10. Let's check that using multiplication. We're going to check that doing this. So our quotient here is 1/10. And in order to check this using multiplication, we're going to take 1/10 and we are going to multiply that by 2 in the hopes that we are going to get 1/5. Let's see what happens. 1 times 2 is 2, and then our denominator is 10. We can simplify that by dividing 2 by 2 and dividing 10 by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So indeed, when we simplify, we do end up with the same numbers. This check step is so important, friends, because ultimately what we're doing, you guys, is we're taking 1/10 and we're multiplying it by 2. So 1/10, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I hope this check step is super, super important. Let's look at just 2 more of these very quickly, and then my guest mathematicians are going to take over. 1/6 divided by 3, we are starting with a whole. We are starting with 1 whole here in lesson 26, and then we are going to show 1/6 by dividing this into 6 equal slices. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here is my 1/6. What we're really interested in, though, friends, is dividing my 1/6, which I have shaded here lightly in blue. We are really interested in dividing 1/6 into 1, 2, 3 equal parts. All of my sixths are going to be divided into 3 equal parts. It's going to be a lot of equal parts. Ultimately, I'm looking for 1. When I divide 1/6, I'm not going to do it that color. When I divide 1/6, I'm going to outline 1/6 in red. When I divide 1/6 in red by 3, 1, 2, 3 in orange, what is this? I'll shade this in red, even though I've already shaded it in orange. What is that fraction? Well, the numerator is 1, because I've only shaded one piece. What is our denominator? Well, let's think about what our denominator is. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, and each of those pieces is divided into 3 equal groups. So total, I have 18 pieces. So when we're looking at 1/6 divided by 3, 1/6, a fraction divided by a whole number, we are going to find 1/18, because now our whole 1 has 18 pieces. One more here, friends, and then I want you guys, while I'm choosing another color, I want you guys to think about your learning right now. How is this feeling? Is this feeling pretty logical? Are you following? Picking up what I'm putting down? If this all sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook to you, I strongly recommend that you rewind and watch it again. We're going to model this one here, 1/8 divided by 2. When we are modeling dividing fractions by whole numbers, we are going to start with a whole. This is one whole. Now I'm going to divide this one whole into eighths, because we are dividing 1/8 by 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eighths. So here is my 1/8. I am going to divide that 1/8 in a very particular way. Let's grab a color that I haven't grabbed yet. I'm going to divide that 1/8 by 2. Boop, 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 boop. I'm dividing all of my 1/8 into 2 equal groups. And ultimately what we're looking for, you guys, is what is this fraction? That fraction, 1/8 divided by 2, keep in mind that this is my original 1/8, and then I divided it into 2. We want to know what is one piece of that shaded, or what is the left side, that shaded portion. The numerator is 1 because we've only shaded in one box. But what is the denominator? Here what we've done, you guys, is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces, and we've split them all into 2. So all of what we have here now is we have 16 slices. We know that because we can just look at 8 times 2. So when we are looking for the quotient, when we're looking at 1/8 divided by 2, what we are finding is 1/16. We can do a check step by taking our quotient, which is 1/16, and multiplying that by 2 with the hopes that we get 1/8. Let's see how this goes. 1 times 2 is 2, and our denominator is 16. If we simplify this, which means divide 2 by 2 and divide 16 by 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 16 divided by 2 is 8, and that is exactly what we are looking for. I'm going to hand this over to our guest mathematician. She's going to do a great word problem. Stay tuned.
Okay, so let's do this problem. Okay, first of all, we're in lesson 26, so yahoo! Okay, so okay, I don't know how to pronounce this name, so I'm gonna change it to one of our friends in our class.
I know who it is.
So, yeah, this color. Okay. So, let's switch it. Okay. Let's make it
Kira.
Kira. Kira delivers newspapers. Yay, Kira! I didn't know she did that. I mean, isn't that amazing? She always puts 3/4 of her weekly earnings in her savings account and then divides the rest equally into 3 piggy banks for spending at the snack shop, the arcade, and the subway. The arcade. what fraction of her earnings does Kira put into each piggy bank? Okay, so let's do a different color. And you wouldn't want blue all the time, would you? My favorite color is pink. I know that's weird, but like, it is. Okay, so. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's equal enough. Okay, so this whole rectangle, this whole tape diagram is equal to Kira's weekly earnings. Okay, so Kira's weekly earnings, she puts 3/4 of her weekly earnings in her bank account. Wow, Kira, you have a bank account? Or like a savings account? Savings account. Okay. This part is what she spent. Okay. So, basically, we have to divide this into 3 parts because she spent 3 piggy banks. So we have to divide the rest in 3 parts. Okay. So, this is equal to SN, which is snack. So, she spent at the snack shop, the arcade, and the subway. So since this is equal to this portion, actually let's do it a different color. Since this part is equal to 1/4, we will do 1/4 from here divided by 3 from these 3 parts. So let's draw a tape diagram, another tape diagram to represent 1/4 divided by 3. Okay, so we would cut it into 4 parts since this is equal to, since this is 1/4, the denominator is 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we have to cut it into 3 equal parts. I love all these colors. Let's do a nice yellow. These colors are so good. So, cut it into 3 equal parts. 1, 2, 1. I pressed the button. Okay. So, one more part. I gotta stay away from the button. Okay. Hopefully I won't press it again. So we cut it into 3 equal parts in each box. So let's shade. We have to shade in one part because it's 1/4. So then Let's count how many boxes there are. 1, 2, 3. This is like what we did yesterday, except it's equal to a fraction. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12. So then 1 out of 12 boxes is equal to 1/12. Yeah. Okay. So this tape diagram is equal to this expression. And this expression is supposed to be for this box. So the question asks us, what fraction of her earnings does Kira put into each piggy bank? So this is the answer, guys. Yay.